Welcome to Brussels. Here I'm in front of the Austrian representation to the European Union, and I call for a European Austria. It must be a European Austria again. Joining NATO is of course the first point, which means that Sweden and Finland are joining now. Austria has no reason to stay neutral. Also to support weapons for Ukraine, because this Hungarian-Austrian axis of evil has to be destroyed. It was a very wrong decision now to oppose weapons deliveries. The EU training mission, of course we must join actively and support that. And also we have to end this policy of inviting Russian politicians and members of the Russian parliament who we just kicked out of the Council of Europe. Now Mr. Schallenberg is inviting them to join the Council, the Parliamentary Assembly of the OECD. This is very wrong. This is absolutely wrong. And on the first day of the war, on the anniversary of the war, this is absolutely wrong. I call him to cancel that delegation, to stop the visa issuing for the Russian war criminals who call themselves parliamentarians. They're representing a terrorist state, and that's of course completely wrong that they are invited to the OECD. Also the energy business, the Germans have now cut all the gas imports, and Austria is still importing over 40% of its gas from Russia. This is totally wrong, and it's a failure of our policy. And now Van der Bellen and Mrs. Gewessler are together with our Minister of Economy in Ukraine. That's very good, but you should fall on your knees to apologize for the miserable performance of the last year, where Austria has been basically an ally of Hungary and the indirect ally of Russia. You have done almost nothing to cut the Russian trade and energy. You have failed on the military support for Ukraine, and then you go to have some good photo opportunities. That's of course still courageous to do, but it's a complete failure of Austria, and please, that must be revised. Additionally, you started an alliance with Serbia and broke the traditional alliance with Albanians and Romanians, and that was a very big mistake. Austrian energy policy in the Black Sea has been to not exploit the European gas reserves in the Black Sea via Austrian state-owned company OMV and Petrom, which OMV owns. And we have basically neglected our own gas resources in the Black Sea in favor of the Russian, because that was the Gazprom's wish and it was obeyed, and that must change as well. OMV must be sold to a NATO ally, and we must change our energy policies. And last but not least, we are also the recognition of Kosovo. Austria should be the first one to talk to Romania, to apologize and to lift this veto now in February, and ask the Romanian state president to recognize Kosovo and to make that happen. It is very important that we lift this veto against Schengen membership of Romania and of Bulgaria immediately. And we have also active support for Romania and Bulgaria in OECD, in the Eurozone, in Schengen, in the US visa waiver program, and to build a lot of infrastructure there as an apology for our insult and our terrible failed policy in 2022 up to now. And I call the Austrian authority to change track and return to a European Austria inside NATO and as a full ally of Ukraine, and to overcome and investigate all our dirty money links with Russia in the energy sector, and to be a full member of the West. Join the West, join the free world, Austria, and stop this secret alliance, as Mr. Schallenberg has recently called for the softening of the sanctions. What a disgrace, and that's absolutely a failure. And I hope that we will return to the West and be a full member of the West and understand our failures and apologize. I hope Van der Bellen does that in Vienna today, and I hope that the veto will be lifted against Romania and Bulgaria, our NATO allies, at this decisive moment. And that should be the Austrian European policy. European Austria must return. Thanks a lot. All the best from Brussels. Bye.